Whew! And here I thought the plains were flat, but Mazuri's got some height. As big as the Great Baobab is, I think I'm saying that right, it cannot obscure the glory of the Citadel. So prepare yourself, as we are about to take a wild trip into...
Hey! Who are you talking to?
Oh, just like anyone.
Are you talking to me? I already know all this stuff. You don't need to tell me.
I'm just talking to whoever. It doesn't matter. I'm talking to the tree.
You shouldn't be up here. How'd you get up here?
I climbed up, obviously.
Well, I've been up here.
Okay.
Been taking pictures this whole time.
Great. Congratulations.
Are you done? You're in my way.
No, I'm not actually. I gotta do the whole intro.
For who?
The tree! Whatever, it's none of your business.
Well, the tree starts at the bottom, so why don't you talk down there?
I'm not doing that. There's like elephants down there. They could eat me.
Alright, go up there.
Look, asshole, I'll be like 5 seconds. Just eat a Cliff Bar or something. Now, Savannah Citadel. Hey!
I'm not an asshole,
Don't throw
dickhead.
things. Was that a can? That's heavy. My line could have snapped.
I was here first.
What, you can't snap a pick from 5 feet up? It has to be here.
Yeah.
That's the tree. It's gotta be this exact spot.
Hey, Steve.
Yep.
Why don't we look like that?
What do you mean?
Like, they're wearing a bunch of clothes and stuff.
Maybe they're European.
They got thumbs, too. You got any thumbs?
No, don't think so.
Weird. Okay, let's go eat his brains.
You know, people always talk about the first stages in Sonic games, but I think there should be just as much attention placed on the second. Metal Harbor, Grand Metropolis, Sweet Mountain, Dinosaur Jungle. Okay, some of these second stages are in big-ass air quotes, but you know what I mean. The level you play once you know how to play. It's difficult to condense them into a singular theme. They're a diverse spread, and they typically play to their particular game. But broadly, I'd say a lot of them are very strong stages that let you unleash the game's core mechanics. In Savannah Citadel does it all. Boost, drift, swing, grind, trick, jump, die, kill. It is a powder keg of fast, frenetic energy that doles out the thrills piece by piece. It's got the most speedway we're ever gonna get, and a lot of it is in 2D, which flies right by me because the level, the music, my heart rate, it's all so fast I can't keep up. But to rein it in, the interesting thing Savannah Citadel does is keep things erratic, but fluid. This stage spooks you a lot. It has a ton of close calls and split-second decisions, and it stays extremely tight in 2D, making the action moment to moment. But it's also very gracious with mistakes. This might be the most Generation Z Unleashed stage, because it likes to put you back on track immediately. I mean, our final segment won't even kill you. Your punishment is looping back to try again. As I go over every set piece today, we'll see how the camera is to blame for all of the nail-biting, the near misses, the whew, barely made it. But this is an Unleashed video, so now I gotta give you a stupid geography lesson. Why did I ever start doing this? This Savannah exists within Mazuri, a joke that's been beaten to death a billion times, even by me. So let's keep it real and point to Africa. Mali, specifically. Timbuktu, even specifically-er. The village resembles the clay buildings of the city, and the Citadel itself is based on mosques within the region. But SC also speeds through subtropical grasslands with actual real-life animals. Hi, hello. If I stare at them too long, my nose bleeds. And even better, the golden landscape is littered with these tall baobab trees. Great tree, top tier tree. In a hypothetical tree top tier list, it's at the top. See, a flat savanna should be a bland environment to speed through, but they incorporated so many little details from the continent, adding up to a truly unique stage. You do a lot here. 2 drifting tracks, 3 2D sections. They cramp you up in an alley, they loop you around a top tier tree. This is not just rolling over hills. Savannah Citadel employs both parts of its name to give you a diverse setting that offers thrills on each side. A solid as hell second level that deserves just as much examination than any other zone. So let's not waste any more time and touch some grass. What do you say? Stop, don't say anything, because I want you listening to the level's music. Savannah Citadel's day theme sets the tone right off the bat. With the rapid pitter-patter of those bongo drums, it's like, oh, this is running music. Every few seconds, something gets layered into the mix. First, it's the animal chants, then comes the claps, and the tambourine. I'm sure it's not a tambourine, probably something more appropriate. Each cymbal crash is super bassy. It's already clear they're leading up to something. Soon, those quick chords of the guitar enter and ricochet back and forth. It's like they're shaking up a soda can. This is carbonated music, my friend, and we're about to pull the tab. And with that vocal eruption, the song really sets off. A flute enters and carries us over the sea of bubbling drums. No, but really, we're saved by the dulcet tones of the wind instrument. Until suddenly, boom! Electric guitar. Sonic the Hedgehog is in the building, and he brought with him the credits theme to his Game Gear port. That's what they're referencing. Yeah, I just learned that too. But what you all know and love is that guitar flute conversation, a satisfying payoff from the sudden electric change. The swift flute is still there, and it keeps trading places with a radical guitar. You can personify this multiple ways, as Sonic and the track, nimble platforming, and unshackled speed, but the main thing is they never feel at odds, only in tandem. There is no verses, this is a duet, and it ain't just saved for the instruments. This track is very communal with the chants and the claps. The rhythm is something you can tap out on your desk right now, or on your phone. Shout out to the phone watchers. Hope you're not wearing any headphones so mom can hear me shout, "Fuck!" It's a song that encourages participation. No, demands it. Like, you're bopping your head to the beat right now, man. Do you see what you're doing? Savannah Citadel's got us in a trance, and I'm more than happy to submit. With a final cymbal crash, we quiet down while still keeping the speed up and then get right back into the rhythm. Savannah Citadel Day has got that Red Mountain renown, as in, it's an incredible song trapped in a phenomenal soundtrack. It's often slept on, as is Mazuri itself, but you gotta commend what they're doing here. It's more than just fast-paced music, because this song is the first track that noticeably incorporates the culture of the setting. I mean, I love Windmill Isle, it's an all-timer, but honestly, I can see it fitting fine in another game, like 06. The strings don't sound too out there, we've had them in other songs before, but Savannah Citadel starts throwing in bongos, bamboo flutes, and most importantly, animal sounds. Right off the bat, it tells you, see, Unleashed makes songs from the setting. After Mazuri, you start imagining how they'll incorporate the culture into future daytime tracks. Like, oh, what instruments are they gonna use here? How the hell will they personify America? What is that gonna sound like? And that's the perfect headspace to be in when setting off to experience the world, because now you're excited to hear it. For now, however, we will bid farewell to the flutes and experience a world of our own on our first Savannah Citadel segment, the Safari Startup. If we're starting up, we need to look at our starting shot. And we got a rotation copy and paste, straight from the streets of Spagonia and Apatos. Almost got it wrong again. Not much to get into here besides the background. It is one of the rare times we see the village huts in this zone. Otherwise, it's orange sand, clear blue skies, and even some early Citadel. When it's go time, things get calculated. We trample past this starting gate, ceremoniously setting the stage off. But more importantly, the environment is flat and narrow. Sure, there's some trees and giraffes sticking out, but look at our path forward. It's a strong, empty line, bordered by hard colors and messy foliage. The Safari Startup is an on-foot racetrack with no obstacles, and that obvious open road curving up to the horizon sets up the vibe right at the get-go. Not only that, you're forced right into a stack of rings, begging that impulse. This is maybe my favorite use of the camera stretch, because the low angle makes Mazuri look enormous. The sky dominates the ceiling. The planes fill the floor. It's a clean cut through the horizon. This route also bends up a bit to cover the upcoming track. It's a tiny incline that shoves the camera away, only returning once we round out to the top. But oh my god, the smartest little detail here is the grass. Great grass. This grass is so important, you have no idea. Remember the Merlins in Dragon Road? Those small gaps which visualized our speed? Well, these gaps have gaps in them. Each tuft of green is a mismatch of lines, so there's no real pattern to follow. This makes our speed look absolutely chaotic with how much random junk is flinging past us on the sidelines. I mean, look at that. That's my running noise. Now, let's talk actual track. This is your drift tutorial, and it's an effective training ground. The road is spacious, and there's an abundant set of rings. I'm talking 3 wide lines on each turn, and each ring placement hovers over a darker patch of dirt, which also functions as a marker for your drifts. If you start your sliding in each one, you'll exit with your kicks clean. Oh boy. Most of all, we get borders to lock us in. The muddy stroke around the street will cut our boost, but it's easy to avoid and helpful for navigation. Can you imagine if they took those out? And the fences? That would be hard. That's an A rank fucking forever. Since the path is so bright and boxed in, you catch the first turn early. There's actually a separate clump outside of the zone that draws our eyes first. These 2 streaks over here are not connected. This one is the actual track. Plus, they added in these colorful canopies to mark each curve. It's a simple swing, and we're back to boosting forward. Second turn is the big one, a double feature. Swing right, then left, and we're bowling. Again, the turn is highlighted with canopies and a dark batch gunning right. But I really love what they give us halfway through. through. It's this clear bisection of our view. Expansive baby blue sky, loud orange track, which for once is also empty. This is the widest portion of the track, and our muddy borders sort of fade away. Thankfully, we have our canopy indicators and this new jagged citadel wall darting left. One far back, one up close, like they're coming with you on the turn. And at last, we get our Citadel reveal. The baby gate has grown into a dominant doorway, surrounded by high spiky walls and sandy dome structures. And I do believe this is staged as a reveal, because they hide it pretty well until this last slide. You see, the incline and structure at the start cover up our left view. It then appears on our curve, blurred in the distance, but before we can track it, it's quickly covered again by the canopy. These trees create a hard barrier, so we're stuck focusing on the floor, and right when it can fully emerge, the camera stuffs Sonic at the bottom left and quickly swings us right, effectively ditching it again, until boom! Where did this come from? With the flashing X and the beautiful formation of these party poppers, you annihilate the Eggos. Their corpses paint the wall in fire, and before you know it, you're bouncing up sideways. But hey, that was a fun ride, and that's all the Safari startup cares about, because you technically don't need a drift to complete it. Our hint marker is even shoved away from us at the start. This is just a wide open track, available to take as you please. However, it's a fantastic level 2 opener, because it allows the freedom for fun right away. Windmill Isle before this was fast, but it came with a lot of nuance in that hallway. But the Safari startup is working so hard to tell you that all we got is empty road. Do as you please. So we stunt and slide all over it. And as for the camera, even if the startup is not tight at all, it's still playing with our view. Sure, our elevated hills remove any surprise of the turns, but that huge citadel does sneak up on you. Now, the masking might be unintentional, just like every observation on this channel, but even so, I find it effective. The first surprise of the Savannah is the Citadel, and things will get a lot tighter once we get inside. Promise. But enough Safari. It's time we start pressing buttons, or else, as we fling right up into the Sidewise Citadel. This is a 2D section that cares much more about its flow than its difficulty, a theme you're gonna see all over this level. The real danger here is leaving the rhythm, but otherwise, every track element keeps shuffling you forward. Except for one, and oh, we're gonna talk about that. But hey, look, we're flying! As the camera turns to 2D, we get this collection of spires in the background, fully integrating us into the Citadel. This first drop is so full of itself, I love it. Rooftop Run does a similar move, and it squishes Sonic to showcase the background. Savannah Citadel flips that, instead giving us a boring shaded wall with clear lines that mark the length we travel, kinda like a big ruler. Our eyes are on Sonic, and the wooden stakes fencing him in give us that hashtag Merlin moment. Now we get the jump. The camera pans slow, so we don't know where this ramp is heading, until finally we get the gap, and Sonic flies between the walls. The camera holds, Tiny Sonic makes a brief appearance, and we're back to it. Now we really catch the flow of Sidewise Citadel. Our 2D vision gets uncomfortably close, and we can easily stumble into punishment paths. But if you do, the slowdown is negligible. Forget to boost the gap? Okay, just jump over a spike. Miss your rainbow ring? Don't worry, we made the hazard slow as hell. Just walk backwards and get back to it. You idiot, you shot forward. Ah, the rail goes to the same spot, just skip the spring. You used it! What were you thinking? Now you gotta home an enemy and hey look, you're done. Do you see what I mean? Each branch is a twofold option whose lower route gets you back up to speed, with maybe one obstacle in between. By all means, we are flowing fast, until we hit this part. Okay, permission to get petty, sir? Can Captain Complainer have the floor? Savannah Citadel sits at the bottom of my day stage tier list, and it's like 90% because of this guy. The horizontal bar, or swing pole, or Satan's straight, or Lucifer's line, whatever you want to call it. It's a dead stop utility that can get real janky with Sonic's homing range. If I ever did a hypothetical track element tier list, this guy would be at the bottom, or near the bottom. Ahead of the catapult, that's for sure. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. These things are easy to learn and master. Each bar has the same timing and dismount. I just think they feel bad, plain and simple. Homing and stopping dead on these things drives a hard line through the stage's flow. A stage that is based on flow, may I remind you. But as I was riding this, I realized the accelerator guns do this too. So what am I on about? Why am I crazy? Well, to give it to the gun, it at least has a timer to act fast. The pole just spins you eternally until you fly straight up and home straight backwards. Always at this part. And there's a bunch of them too. Even with the light speed shortcut, you still gotta put your grubby mitts on one. It's a skill issue, and I'll accept it. When you get older, they let you use that as a free space on your video essay bingo card. But the great news for Wine Master Supreme, that's me, they keep the poll to just Mazuri. Thank fuck. Back to the flow with a twist. This time, the final branch can slow you down considerably at the bottom with 2 hard jumps and even a surprise slide. Top puts on a show with this rail loop. These indirectly show off the background, so we get another taste of the Citadel before heading into the gun. Ah, my good friend. You're at least an A tier. And specifically you, because I love both choices here. Jumping up joins us with a bottom route. A single enemy will place you on a dash pad, and then you get this silly moment where Sonic travels so fast, he remains upside down before dropping onto the rail. Such a fun way to play with the architecture. It feels so Sonic, you know? Exiting the gun nets you a life, but also this sick visual of Sonic bursting through these boxes with the debris springing out that tiny alcove. And this rail, I promise I'll stop after this, but it's a great rail, folks. Fantastic rail. If I ever did a hypothetical Unleashed rail tier list, this strand would be at the top, or near the top, behind the JJ ending grind, and oh, we'll get to you, my friend. But the rail, the 2D transition here is so smooth and slick. You have all this visual noise with hard lines going up and down until that big blue sky breaks into the picture, and your slinking rail avoids those strict edges by bending diagonally into the 3rd dimension. You sense the pressure of the rail with the camera stuck on the opposite side, heels pressing towards us, reeling in behind him with all those sparks hitting our face, and of course, we don't travel around the ring, do we? We go through it with Sonic, thus completing the sidewise with so much sauce. And even with my pole problems, I think this is a pretty smooth and successful 2D segment, at least for what it's doing, because it ain't trying to challenge us. Windmill Isle before this had some stopping and thinking, but when we get sidewise in the Citadel, it's all forward motion. Every bottom becomes just a big rebound to the main path. More importantly, it's our first shining example of Savannah's moment-to-moment action. When you think about it, this 2D is very vertical, but they hide the other route by getting so close with that camera. This makes the sidewise feel like a single fluid strand of combos, even if you fall into other routes, because they still stay tight, even down there. To give a vibe comparison, it's kind of like the classic games. Stare at a full map and it looks like child's play, but zoom into that 4x3 and suddenly, we're exploring a roadway 1 jump at a time. Therefore, the sidewise earns that erratic action, and with no massive failures, it keeps up the fun as well. With the music blasting in our ears, we are feeling invincible once we get past the poles. But let's get past this 2D. And I'm in trouble because I already used Market Mayhem in Shamar, so prepare for a trip down the vendor hall.
Attention guests, the swing pole exhibit will be closing in 5 minutes. Someone tore up all the pieces.
Don't touch me, alright? Okay, this part is super simple, and I'm attaching the wall run with it because it's also super simple. So let's start breaking some exhibits. First chunk of the hall is a bit of a trickster. The start is open air, and since we grind down to it, we clock these lane switches from a mile away. Scoot left, scoot right. It's not that hard. Thing is, the rail plops you down in the middle lane, which requires no switching at all, meaning you can boost forward without touching anything. But therein lies the real trick, because a ledge sits in the center, and IMO, it's a little cheap. You might catch the shadow from afar, but it looks like the shade of any other awning. Plus, as you draw near, they remove it completely, blending it with the road you're on. Good news is, I think they knew this, because they placed a wide spring at the back, and the enemies won't even get a hit in, or to your sides. Now, you can sidestep to the left, but that's just for rings. A short hop will get you there instantly. The second chunk is just as uncomplicated. Again, the middle lane is your best and only real bet. The worst thing you can do here is fall into this pit, as you'll have to hop and home out, but balancing towards the dash ramp will save you from all that trouble and send you into this flame core. Get it? But again, just jump, slide, or even boost through the flame and you're golden. But if you want to stunt on these Bunsen burners, you can also boost the ramp and fly over them. This move consistently makes me laugh because it sends the camera through so much tree. Like, look at that. I don't think this is even purposeful because they don't obscure anything in particular. The fighters are yet again placed beyond us, which means you could just speed forward and murder some melons. Now, the last chunk is most likely what'll catch you, as you're sent again onto those dreaded poles. And judging Sonic's rotation is much harder from the back. It's rare they get behind you on the horizontal bar. Even SA2 liked to tilt the camera. Fumbling the poles drops you into a mandatory kill zone. Murder 3 egg fighters and down comes the pulley. One more unlucky enemy and we get this wonderful hard cut to the top of the tunnel where we watch Sonic shoot straight up the wall and under this roof. By the way, major props to them because unlike Skyscraper Scamper, there are things in Sonic's way. If there's one thing I hate hate in my Sonic games. It's breaking my immersion. Okay, this wall run is beyond basic, but it's still effective, and not just as a tutorial. You get your button prompts and your ring trails, but what is this run actually doing? I believe it's selling the escape from the Citadel. I gotcha. The entire hallway before is claustrophobic, so much that you're basically glued to one lane. Sonic has no way to experiment in here. It's not fun for him. And to me, this is his grand exit. Stage Duel 2, the camera pushes in and rolls to that wonderful crooked Dutch angle. The bottom has this immense drop, but it also exposes some green, the outside world. That's what we're chasing, and we can catch that all familiar blue far down the line, like a light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, the light-in, the reverberating teardrops, the diagonal shadows. There's a lot of fun construction here. Also, what is this thing? What is the architectural purpose of this insanely tall and hollow roof? I don't know, but it's cool as hell to sprint through. As the trees begin to poke their head inside, we hard cut to the opposite ending of the tunnel. Sonic's dust trail becomes a big arrow that heads right for the distinct red spring, and we are done with Vendor Hall. Just like our final tunnel, the hall is hollow as a whole. If you just run straight down the middle, you'll be fine. There is a lot of smoke and mirrors that make it seem much more complicated than it is. Now, my camera analysis kind of falls apart here. Whenever we go 3D in SC, we see a lot, and the hall has no alternate paths to hide. And yet, I was still able to chunk it up, right? Well, I wasn't going by length, I was going by elevation. Vendor Hall is keeping things tight by raising each chunk above you. It's like 2 big steps before the final pit, which is still technically hidden by the ramp. Even in a straight and narrow street, we can adhere to that moment-to-moment philosophy. Not only that, our track elements pull off a great flow as you effortlessly soar up each step. And as an exit from the Citadel, it does its job properly. It squeezes you so hard, suffocating you in this little alley, so the final wall run tastes like freedom. Save me, trees! But my oh my, there is still gaming ahead on the trees. Watch your feet, because it's time for the sapwood scaffolds. Sapwood is like a type of wood. This works, trust me. All right, enough gentle movement. It's time to put our hand on the controller and earn those skips. I think I already said that. This 2D chunk is practically built for the music. It's wild and tight, and you never clock where you're going. You're just jumping and grinding from scaffold to scaffold, aka when Savannah Citadel gets really off the rails. Okay, first off, the bongo springs, why are we using them so late? I love them. Here's a cheat code idea. Change every spring to the bongo drums once you get all the moon medals or something. And then big brain mode. This portion sells depth extremely well by layering all your routes between the trees. There is constantly something to catch here. Even the distant landscape, a massive encompassing plain dominated by the sky and more trees. If you don't like trees, you should jump off one. Anyways, the branches here, level branches, they fold into each other constantly, but it's very clear which is faster when you look at them all. Good rule of thumb, always follow the rails. Accelerating up on our first gun is gonna loop us and robot us over and over, but Xing forward past the pole nets our shortcut rail right towards our burn bot. Now this kill is great. In my hypothetical tier list of murders I've committed, it's near the top. Whoa, what's your name doing here? Spoiler alert. You see, it's a perfect analog for Sonic's speed. You home so quick, you go right through the fire, and you can boost from his bounce into the rainbow ring. It's still satisfying to kill. Try it sometime. Definitely before July. Now, our next rail might bring us back to the floor, but the scaffolds aren't done with us yet. Again, chasing the top gets you the shortcut rail we know and love, but boosting the bottom is still cinematic as you jump to a scaffold in the background that circles back towards the camera. The shot we get here finally gives us some 2.5D of the whole forest, and it's all baobab here, baby. After a final gap, we take our final loop and touch grass again. Don't melt. So mean. The most impressive thing about the scaffolds, the thing that earns the volatility of it all, is that they hide every single step, even from the first drum. Forgive me for the tangent, but I want to take you through each one, because it blew my mind. You can catch drum 1 before the camera cut, but it hides behind the trunk in our next shot, as does our second drum and our ending rail, along with drum number 3. And the entire time, our first tree is specifically hiding our upcoming 2D territory. You can catch it peeking in here for just a second to see what I mean. Now for the actual scaffolds. Accelerator gun hides behind this trunk, the speedometer obscures our swing pole, and you never catch our top spring nothing until you press A. Dashpad is a surprise. Spring is a surprise. Even if you took the rail, the camera is in your face. Surprise. Rainbow ring, surprise. Rail, surprise. And you can't even see these things from the far off bridge because of this tree. It's hiding it. The loop is a given, but the top robo chain still staggers per home. If you take the bottom fighters, it's very difficult to catch this curve. Rainbow ring is a surprise on the top route. Same with the ending loop. Folks, do you see what I mean? The scaffolds inspire split-second reactions because every piece of it is a surprise. And can you guess how they pull that off? That's why I wanted to take you through it, at risk of repeating myself. The camera is Savannah Citadel's main method of vibe implementation, and the sapwood scaffolds are the strongest representation of that. And unlike the sidewise, I don't think this area is blindly accessible too. You gotta do a lot of correctly timed boosts and homes to pull this off in one succinct combo, but no matter where you go on your first run, it feels correct. Zoom in tight and keep throwing them around. Savannah Citadel. Put that on its tombstone. But now, we must disembark the woodway and head back down towards another speedway. Watch those curves, because this is the Zig Zag Zoo. Should we bring up the animals? Is it time to bring up the animals? Real life animals just sitting there. They were there before, but they're back. A lot of them. It's not like 2 elephants, it's like 400. And they all got their eyes on you. Remember, elephants don't forget, so don't fuck this up. This is our second drifting course, and it is tricky. I still fuck it up, and the elephants wish they forgot, because I keep coming back and eating that mud over and over again. It's not just that the turns are tight, it's that they disguise how tight the turns are before you take them. Let's get started. Hey guys, remember to close your eyes. Yet again, the road is inviting. It's got that Cajun fry crust. You know what I'm saying? I just want to rub my feet all over it. This tent canopy tunnel is stunning, especially when it gets globally illuminated. You speed up a gentle hill and then level out. Also, this part is raised. Just this part, in just this area. I have no idea why. It's also interesting to mention that this tent is only yellow and orange. Maybe a touch of red. But near the end, every color comes into view, and they switch it up one by one. This, of course, signals the upcoming curve, which points to our first tight turn. Alright, so already, this canopy is hiding the rest of the track, as is this trunk and this great grass. But prepare your heels for the drift. So, I'm not gonna teach you how to drift. I don't even know how to drift, and I've S-ranked this stage. But don't you worry. There's a large group of people online who can't help but tell you how. You'll find them in any comment section ever. If you want messages directly, just say it's bad. No, I care less about the mechanic here and more about the track, because it is tight, and the mud zone is much more pronounced. It freaks you out early, so you'll do something stupid, like walk around the bend, you coward! Once we survive, we get some rings to boost again, and then the zag to our zig, the second turn. But again, the path is obscured by huts and trees, so you can't judge the length of the drift. And the mud barrier is less pronounced. You even lose it as you incline a smidge here. But on our final dip, we're given a patch of rings to boost forward through our final canopy and out of the zoo. And that's it. Not much to it. It's just more fun track. And another great example of that claustrophobic camera, as I think these drifts would be much more compatible if you could judge them early. But the zigzag here makes you decide your rotation mid-turn. Despite my shortcomings, I do appreciate the zoo's inclusion. It's rare a daytime stage just hands you another chunk of open road. Typically, it's only a taste before they crowd it up with something else. But Savannah Citadel gives you a lot of opportunity to just boost down a speedway. And it's not just for show. I mean, there is a lot to show. My love for the canopy cannot be overstated, but this drift is legitimately difficult for early game players. It's not cruel like the scamper. Instead, the failures here just make you think, I bet I can get this right on a replay. Well, guess what? You can't. So you walk the track like a wimp and suffer the judgment from each and every elephant. The shame is too great. I gotta get out of here. Straight on up to our final gauntlet. Timber Trek Tower. A massive, multi-layered 2D section looped around a baobab tree the size of a mountain. If I were to point to a strong example of 2D boost, I'd use the big old tree. It flows so effortlessly, if you can get it right. So a couple of things. First, this trek is fairly punishing on a first go. It is hiding things just like the scaffolds, and even if the curve allows you to plan ahead, they shrink a lot of hazards to the floor. Second, the trek is also surprisingly graceful. Since the 2D is stacked on top of each other, your punishments punishment for a mistake is just falling down a layer. You cannot die on the tower. Third, it's very fast. I mean, lord oh lord, do these dash pads rocket you before you have time to think. Yet again, adding to the difficulty, but also balancing the fun, because 4, it flows so smoothly, until we run into 5, the swing poles, which I hate and think ruin the flow of the entire ending. Captain Complainer, back again! As we pass the goalpost, we get this hard cut, which swings from right to left, covering the track before Sonic hits the trick jump panel. And the slowdown is so deliberate, because it frames the entire tree. You can even see the rails and platforms from all the way down here. Failing the jump drops you below with a normal surprise ledge. You see how we have time to catch it? The sun washes out the colors and the shadow gives it a dark border below. Spring up to the next floor, and if you tricked the jump well, then you just take a rail right over here. Next floor will probably have you bonking and crawling. Anything besides A-ing on this gun will drop you down, so we follow the homing chain to a spring pole, a pole I do like, over some spikes, to what I thought was a tough jump. It's kind of far, but did you know there's another spring pole behind us that we can also use? I always forget this thing. You see, I just love holding right. And before we keep riding, let us reverse back to a shortcut we missed. That low ledge is also holding a dreaded swing pole, is it not? Turns out, if you gain some height and properly wall jump, you can skip all those enemies and just get right past the rail. All right, I will admit, this is some delightful swing pole action. I hate to hand it to the horizontal bar, but I applaud this skip because it's very well hidden. You earn it through correctly scaling the space. Really feels like some Sonic parkour, you know? Let us continue. Past these drapes, over a jump, into a very mean ledge. They dip the path right before it, so there is no clean line of sight. You only catch it here, so your real savior is jumping on that homing reticle. Some quick platforms that I habitually fall off of, and we're gunning again. To a lot of poles. Yippee! Now I'm back to hating. I mean, I like everything. I gotta hate something, right? What I loved about the swing pole shortcut was that you used it with the space, but every other pole section is just bar after bar after bar. Ugh, I'm being dramatic, I know, but whatever. If you fall down, you just loop up again. But I want to go to an actual loop and wrap up this stage. Soon you get this ridiculous shot, which holds low and shows that we're still not at the top of the tree, before Sonic hits the jump and does his tricks. A lot of time is given to this one. I'm guessing you've never failed it. But just as a little treat, I'll fuck up on purpose. A thing I never do. You immediately hit a rail with a spring that just shoots you right back up. But that is the Timber Trek, a flawless tower of 2D, except for my occasional hiccups. But whatever, I was good at video games, I'd have nothing to talk about. My biggest takeaway from the Timber Trek is that it's a lot of work that goes fast. This thing is 4 full floors of vertical action, but a flawless execution here will take you maybe 15 to 20 seconds, without any fear of death. It continues the SC2D tradition of threatening your flow state rather than your life state. Visually, I love the small hills they integrate into the scaffolds and rails. There is a bounciness to the climb. The generic brown of the trunk lets us track Sonic easily, while still offering a vista view on our right. The haphazard ropes make the path feel fragile. The bright drapes makes the climb feel ceremonious. And dare I say, it's again nailing that erratic nature. Even if this is a rotation, the dash pads force you to spin that trunk fast. Things become moment to moment without any view of the layer above or below. But with no danger of death, we still get that effortless flow. That's why I believe this is effective 2D boost. Punishments keep you moving, track elements replace standard platforming, and you get the same amount of thrill and wonder as the 3D world. Careful about transitioning between the two, it's rough. A fitting climax, as I gotta note, it's the only stage that wraps up sideways. And to put a bow on SC's close little camera, they even hide your goal ring right at the end. Savannah Citadel, you got me. No one gets me! But with our legs and arms now worn down, we pose at the tippy top of the Timber Trek Tower and fill in the name of Savannah Citadel. Alright, these elephants are starting to remember, and I shouldn't stick around. But before they eat me, how does Savannah Citadel make you feel? For me, I feel like I'm making my own thrills in the moment, which is weird, right? Because this stage has thrills littered throughout. Every rail and scaffold buckles and billows like a theme park ride. Dash ramps send you through treetops. There's loops galore. But the way they present these elements is unique, because nearly every portion of Savannah Citadel hides the next. Not like section to section, I'm talking literally element to element. I mean, look at the scaffolds. Every second is a a new movement, and this rapid pace gives us the illusion that we're just scraping by, making all these split-second decisions at the last second. It's a level filled with near misses, which is ironic because no misses will kill you. I count maybe 2 to 3 bottomless pits inside Y Citadel. That's it. Believe it or not, you cannot fall to your death on the scaffolds or the timber trek. This is a level 2 that makes you think it's a level 7, and that's all because of the camera. That claustrophobic pressure. So much thrill comes from just keeping things tight, camera and combos. Many Unleashed stages employ these techniques in segments, but in Savannah Citadel, it's the whole level. Even the second drift track hides the end of each turn. Even the first drift track hides the Citadel. In such an open space, that's nuts. So why does everyone forget this level exists? Well, first off, the game is filled with all-timer stages. Savannah Citadel and Cool Edge are like the George and Ringo of Unleashed. Any other game, they'd be running the show. It's unfortunate. But I also believe a lot of this moment-to-moment action kind of flies by people. There's not a lot of grand, sweeping landscape shots besides the intro. What you retain from the Citadel is just clay wall. And even when you play with a ton of trees, you only really see their trunks. It's all trunk during the scaffolds, all trunk during the trek. They don't even show you the full tree on the trick jump or the ending screen. I didn't even bring them up during the zigzag zoo, because your eyes are at the ground. You're focusing on a lot of gameplay movements rather than the setting as a whole, and therefore you kind of just remember the speed rather than Mazuri itself. I think what makes Savannah Citadel so great is also what makes it so forgettable. It's a stage that's so cramped and erratic that it's hard to capture a clear picture of it in your mind. But have hope, SC stands, because the Citadel is still an Unleashed stage. When served with the music, this is one of the fastest levels in the game. And just like the simplicity of Metal Harbor, it demands perfection for the final rank. I come out with an A rank like 90% of the time. Sure, it's got a predictable rhythm, but you certainly can't ebb and flow off of it. You need to lock in for that S, and I believe the dependence on the clean combo makes this stage less of a challenging track and more a showcase of finesse. Just like good old Metal Harbor, and Dinosaur Jungle, and Grand Metropolis. Screw it, and Dusty Desert 2. Come on, get in here, buddy. These level 2s don't just unleash the mechanics, they ask you to perfect them, and maybe that's the magic of a level 2. Something you speed past on a first go, but it taunts you to come back on the stage select. Stuck at silver, second place, just waiting to go gold. It's an early stage, surely you can S rank it. All you gotta do is all of it perfectly. And in Mazuri, ain't that the fucking truth? Savannah Citadel provides a very specific experience. This hyper thrill that can't sit still, that refuses to stop going, except at the pools. But it's entirely effective at what it sets out to do, because you cannot help but speed through Savannah Citadel. And folks, that's where we're gonna leave it on this golden day. But hey ho, I gotta know, how does Savannah Citadel make you feel? Why is it at the top of your list? Or why is it at the bottom? Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. And what is up with those elephants, the giraffes, the zebras? I know there's cats in Apatos, but cats are small, an elephant can eat me. Someone save me. However, with Mazuri behind us, that finally puts us at the last 2 stages. Unleashed is nearly complete. And I'll also tell you this, Jungle Joyride will release this year. It's my top priority, but I wanted to make some smaller episodes in the meantime, because if you haven't heard, I am going to Japan in like a week for my birthday. So if I do not reply to your messages in mid-April, apologies. I'm too busy slurping up Pocari Sweat, everyone's favorite energy drink. I'm holding off announcing the next stage because I'm gonna see if I can film something tiny in Japan, but no guarantees. Maybe I'll just actually chill and use it like a vacation or something. Could you imagine? But for the time being, I am here to chat. So please, yap in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the vid, consider liking and subbing for the next. And don't forget to click on that bell for notifications, or else YouTube stuffs me in the Disney vault, never to be heard from again. As for now, I'm not gonna immediately start writing the next episode, and instead start packing. So I'll see you later. Watch out for elephants. Love you guys, and bye-bye.